Welcome back. So you've probably noticed that I haven't been reviewing Doctor Who lately. You might not have noticed. That's fine if you haven't. I mean, I've noticed because I've not been doing it. And the reason I haven't been doing it is because I feel like since the episode where they go into the little haunted castle with all the wood people and wood lice and shit, I just feel like the show has gone back to being stupid and I don't really want to waste my time with it. But I still watch it weekly, hoping that I will be surprised by a gem, a hidden gem amongst this pile of turds. The first few episodes of this season I thought were really good, and it's just very quickly gone off the rails. And so I was watching Pyramids at the End of the World. I was so shocked at how bad this episode was written, and I thought, you know what, this could be a perfect example of an episode that really needed a good script doctor. I want to run through the bits that really just don't work and why they don't work. So the intro, you have Bill and Penny on a date. We've seen this before. It's all been done in the simulation. We've also been well informed that Bill is a lesbian. This intro doesn't do anything to further Bill's character. All it really does is drive home facts that we're already well aware of. Now, sure, some people might say, oh, but we like seeing this side of the character. Fine. If you want to see that, I don't give a shit. But it's got to be done better. But one of the big problems is you have this character of Penny who's been dropped in twice, and she's nothing more than a throwaway character. This Penny girl has been in 2 episodes, only to be thrown out just as the action happens. Maybe the simulation could have been wrong, and Penny would have been interested to stay with Bill and see this whole mission through with her, but, nope. She wants to get an Uber and bounce on out of there. Like, it's a waste of a character. And if it's a waste of a character, it's a waste of a scene. It's redundant. You don't need it. Either make it important or cut it. But let's back up a bit and talk about that whole scene with Penny and Bill. Why is Bill exposing everything she knows about the Doctor? Why would she go into all this detail about all this shit? Penny is acting like aliens and all this kind of stuff is weird. How many times has Earth been invaded by aliens in Doctor Who? And why can no one seem to remember this? Like, it made sense in the Victory of the Daleks when Amy is like all confused about the invasion of the Daleks, and she can't because, cracks in time and stuff. So that's just a huge inconsistency. The opener really only serves as an exposition dump. Someone needed to tell Bill that the Doctor is the president of the world in major times of crisis. And we just get told all this stuff, only to then be retold it later because the Doctor needs to be told. This intro could have gone so much faster. I'm going to tell you how it could have been done. Ring, ring. The Doctor picks up the phone. Hello? Bill says, Doctor, I need your help. Doctor says, where are you? Bill, I'm at a pyramid. Doctor, what pyramid? Bill, in this place. Doctor, there isn't a pyramid there. Bill, there is now. And the camera pans out and shows the Bill's with all the military people, and there's a big pyramid where it shouldn't go. Roll the opening titles. I think I did that in about 30 seconds. After the credits, you can then brief the Doctor on the importance of the situation and still be within 5 minutes of the episode starting and have the groundwork laid out. The show's biggest fault at the moment, for the past several seasons, have been bloated exposition. So exposition is defined as a comprehensive description and explanation of an idea or a theory. Everything needs explanation. We need exposition to drive the plot, but we also need action to drive the plot. If you remember the show House, that show, being a medical drama, is super heavy on exposition because we, the general audiences, probably don't understand all of the medical jargon. So they do have to kind of explain things and spell things out a little bit more. But what that show did to make it feel like it was more on the move and urgent is all of these scenes were always being filmed as they were walking and going to the next thing. There was always movement. But Doctor Who has been weighed down in recent years by exposition. The Doctor or someone is talking, always in rooms with little action. But a perfect example of a past Doctor Who episode that keeps things on the move and doesn't slow down so that people can sit and talk in rooms is The Girl in the Fireplace, ironically written by Stephen Moffat. Well, actually, I chose that on purpose. But the doctor's off solving this mystery about Madame de Pompadour, and you have Rose and Mickey who are wandering around this ship, finding all these, body parts that are running the ship, and they're getting freaked out by it, and they're trying to work all this stuff out and finding these wind-up robots and all this kind of stuff. So there's a lot happening, and there's all these different threads that the characters are following. Then it all comes together, and they resolve the plot. There's movement, there's character stuff. It's all very interesting stuff. There's things happening that make them go and do stuff. And that's what was lacking in this episode. And what drove me nuts is why would the doctor resolve to sitting around a table with other people Googling? That is just lazy writing. The camera trick was all he needed. You didn't really need to go do the Googling thing, That whole bit where they're just walking around this table and talking and doing all this military mumble jumble, it could have been sped up a lot. The plot just really kind of fumbled along. And blind doctor who, can sometimes use his sonic glasses to see things until the plot requires him to not see things is boring. Not only is it boring, but it also adds to the fact that everything has to be explained in duplicates or triplicates. But much like his convenient sonic sunglasses that allow him to see until the plot requires him not to see, let's talk about convenience. What drove me mad was just how convenient everything was in this episode. They're trying to work out how the world's going to blow up, and there's tons of ways in which the world can be destroyed. But Nardole just, postulates for a minute about what the possibilities could be, and he's like, it could be a chemical. And the doctor's like, I like the sound of it. And it just so happens that's exactly what it is. Huzzah! How convenient. I'm sorry, but where's the mystery? Where's the investigation? I mean, we already know from the beginning of the episode that there's these two people working in a fucking lab. We already know that it's going to be a chemical thing. If the chemical thing is supposed to be the twist, and we're supposed to then go and find that chemical thing, don't show us the people in the lab. The episode just has to keep... Not only does it have to explain everything via the dialogue, but visually it's explaining everything as well. And it's just kind of like, I get it. Within the first 5 minutes of the episode, we get it. It takes out any real need for mystery or investigation, apart from that super awesome action scene of everybody Googling. There's a lot of fat that could be cut from this episode. I was shocked at how many scenes were just kind of people standing and walking. We literally follow the scientist lady from one room, walk into another room, put a helmet on, walk through a door, close that door, and then go into another room. What the fuck? If that's the kind of action that's happening in your story, you failed. We didn't need the multiple swooping and panning shots of cars zipping and, screeching to a halt. It gives the viewer this false sense of things are happening quickly, when they're not. Especially when the cars zipping to a halt aren't going anywhere new. You also have this really obnoxious scene where the Doctor and Nardole are walking around the TARDIS console after the Doctor already has his plan to blind the monks. They spend a good 30-40 seconds walking around while the Doctor's building up to his plan, and you're kind of thinking, I have lost any sense of urgency because you're just walking around chatting gibberish when what you really need to be doing is locate these cameras, turn them all off now. And if you want to have further exposition, do it while you're doing that. And lastly, going through the story, there's a lot of stupid in the room. Not only do you have stupid hungover scientist guy, why did you come into work? Why didn't you follow protocols when shit started to hit the fan? Why didn't you close the doors behind you? Why don't those doors automatically close behind you? When he clicked to put everything into lockdown, why didn't things go into lockdown? Are there no alarms or systems to say, doors open to biohazard area? Apparently not. In the last episode, the Doctor emails himself everything that his digital self knows about the monks to give him a leg up. Only in this episode, he doesn't have a leg up. He's as in the dark as he was before. So you had this whole entire episode devoted to the Doctor learning about these people, yet there is literally zero payoff from that entire episode. So not only is this episode slow and clunky, the previous episode is utterly redundant. And Bill, for God's sake, really on board with Bill until this episode really drove me mad because out of love, she decides to give humanity over to the monks. even though the doctor has stopped them. She only does it so that he can get his sight back. Really? You're going to give humanity to some alien terrorists just so the doctor can see, even though he stopped them? How do the monks know how to give the doctor his sight back? To me, that kind of falls into the realm of conveniency. I will not be surprised if there is no explanation as to how they did that in the next episode. The last bit of stupid falls on the doctor again, and it's when he lets Nardal come into the toxic lab with him, despite knowing that Nardal has human lungs. Dude, if you know there's toxic stuff out there, why let him go out? That makes no sense. So these are some of the big problems that are in the pyramids at the end of the world. And they're typical problems that come up in stories that haven't really been flushed out very well. And what that says to me is that this was written in a massive hurry. The two writers weren't working very closely together. Those are the questions that an editor will be having for you as well. And what is frightfully clear is that Doctor Who has been without any kind of editorial supervision for I don't know how long. To be fair, it's probably been the entire time the show has been on. So my ultimate verdict for this episode would be, you got to go back and rewrite it. These are the kind of questions that I come up with. But I just thought I'd go into detail with this particular episode and show you why it's frustrating. But comment below. Let me know what you thought of the episode. If you liked the episode, I really don't give a shit. It's not life or death. But if you're passionate about it, you might have some feelings. I have some feelings. Your feelings might be different than mine. That's fine. But let's have a discussion. Comment below.